Hey, what's up, fellow cyclists? So here we are with my custom built Trek Checkpoint SL5 Gen 3. This is a full frame up build. Came with the Apex, tore all that stuff off. Rebuilt it with Dura, of course. I mean, why would you use anything else, right? Avian Canary ultralight bars. These things are only 257 grams. They are ultra stiff. I run them on all my bikes. I also finally put a set on my world's lightest SLR9. Love them, love them, love them. And these are those new wheels that I got a little over, I guess, 2 months ago now. Haven't done many videos on it, but first impressions were absolutely insane. Legitimately the second best wheels I've ever ridden in my life. Only compared to my customs that were better. So definitely the best out the box, stock, on the market wheels I've ever ridden. Unfortunately, like I said in the other video, as soon as I bought them, they stopped shipping to America. So I'm not sure if they changed that or not. Not ridiculously light, but they're 1450 tubeless, 45 mil deep, and they are absolutely amazing. The bike now has about 1,200 miles on it of almost entirely just bad pavement. And if you've seen my other videos from a year ago, I was getting like 50 plus punctures and stuff ruining tires in the bike lane here. It's just nothing but broken glass, broken pavement, and just like literally the worst pavement you could possibly have. And finally, about a week and a half ago, they tore up all the bike lanes, and they did that, like it's that wavy, zigzaggy kind of cut through it, like they're getting ready to pave it. So it's like, I don't know, probably about 5 to 8 millimeters deep of just constant washboard, like vertical zigzags that your tires are going on. And can't ride any of my road bikes on it because the wheels just, follow the grooves, and it's just horrible to ride on. However, this thing with these Terra speeds, the 40Cs, these things are absolutely sublime. They have just enough like give in the carcass and walkability as far as the knobs go. You literally don't even feel that zigzag grid pattern in the pavement. It goes straight as an arrow and is outrageously comfortable. And I've been running between 30 and 32 PSI front and rear on it, and it is, like I said, absolutely sublime. Handles great, super predictable, super comfortable. I would like to run these probably as a 45C, would probably be optimal. And I initially posted on these tires when they only had like 100, 150 miles on them. They started to wear really, really quickly. And I figured, there's no way I'm gonna get more than 3 weeks out of them like I do with most of my road tires. But nope, this was the rear tire that had about 300 miles on it, and then I swapped them front to back. You can see it's squared off a little bit, but these things, I gotta say, they've probably even gotten faster now that they've got about 1,200 miles on them. And they're super smooth, super quiet. Like I said, we're running about 31 PSI in them right now. And for me, at my current weight of like 79 kg, this is perfect. But I wish I'd had the 45C versions, and that's probably what we're gonna stick on here next. So as far as the bike, like I said, 1,000-mile review on it. It is amazingly stiff. If you're on the fence on one of these and you're between like this and some other not like premium AAA brand frame, like, I don't know, not one of like the big 5 brands, this thing was mismarketed by Trek as an adventure bike. However, this is the second stiffest frame I've ever ridden out of all my aero road race bikes and everything. The only bike I've ever ridden that's stiffer than this is my Madone SLR9 Gen 7. And this thing is so fast, you literally would not believe me. I'm not kidding, this is faster than road race bikes I've owned. This is right there neck and neck probably with my Pinarello as far as everything goes, yet it's even stiffer. As far as gearing, I've gone up and down between my 46 and my 48. I'm definitely running the 48, especially since my fitness level and my watts have been coming back since, you know, being off the bike for 6 months. So now we're getting there where we're riding, every ride's over 300 watts again. The last like 4 rides in a row, I've averaged 39 kilometers an hour on this thing for about 50K. So yeah, those are high effort, you know, rides, but this thing is legitimately, it's just a comfortable road race bike. You know, if you're from the car world, you know, you could compare this to something as like a Lamborghini Urus or like a G63 AMG. It's got like the capabilities to do, you know, some light off-road stuff. And I did do that quick video, if you check my shorts, where I had the new Race King 2.2s, and they fit just fine on here, and it was like riding on an absolute cloud. You know, super fun if you have the ability to, you know, have the kind of terrain where you can utilize a tire like that. Man, so much fun. Super cool kind of feeling to basically be riding on like a full rigid mountain bike is what it felt like again. And as far as the gearing, I've done a couple videos on these guys. These are the Goldex Ultralights. I believe this was 160 grams. This is the 11 to 36. Shift's awesome. It's not as quiet as the Dura Ace, but it shifts great. So if you're on the fence, buy one of these. They're ridiculously light. I also am running them on the 11 to 32 version for my other bikes. We did pop over to the 180 mil on the front, and I'm running the KO4 TI pads, which are the sintered metallics. These have a lot more bite than the standard Dura Ace or Shimano pads. So love these things. 160 out back, 180 up front. So only issues I've had with the bike are not bike related. So like I said, 1,200 miles, all of them have been at pretty high power levels, relatively speaking. I mean, not compared to, you know, full on like crit racing, but as far as what the most average guy would probably be buying, this is like an adventure, do it all only bike. You know, not really a serious rider, I would have to imagine, if this was your only bike. So, only issue was this crankset creaks a lot, but only because it turns out that it loosens up on each bolt on each side. So it didn't make any noise for the first, you know, couple hundred miles. It says, what is it, 35 to 40 Newton meters. So I just kept putting it on the torque wrench at 40 Newton meters, and then it would go away. And then, you know, 2 rides later, it would just be a very slight. So anyways, I cranked it up to 50 Newton meters, and it hasn't made a sound since. This is the standard bottom bracket, if I remember, that came with the SRAM group set. And this crank just slid right in and saved like 220 grams or something. And it was like 150 grams lighter than the Dura Ace. But I'm also contemplating sticking, if you've seen my other recent build, that was kind of a mistake where I shouldn't have bought the parts, but I had, you know, half the stuff, and I ended up getting that Gen 8 frame set. So I still haven't ridden that thing. I'm thinking about pulling that FSA carbon crank out of there, putting it on here, and that Dura Ace front derailleur. So this bike will instead go again from being the 48 by 36 out back, and put, you know, the traditional 50-34 FSA front derailleur, and stick a Dura Ace, you know, 11 to 30 or the Goldex 11 to 32 on it, since I really genuinely love this bike, and it's just so practical, so fast, so comfortable. The frame is, you know, like I said, really, really stiff, so you got to get a Flexi ultralight seat post and put your saddle clamps on as loose as they can possibly go, so that way you have some extra flex fore and aft in the saddle. But as soon as you get some good wheels and tires on it, that's really where all your comfort comes from. And while I would take my custom wheels over these, you know, 10 out of 10 times, the price difference I paid for these versus those is like so silly, it's not even funny. So that's why I've been riding these and leaving my fancy wheels to the road bikes. So, but these are amazing wheels, and for under like $500 or $600, they couldn't be beat for 1,500 bucks. I wouldn't have any qualms about paying that for them. So yeah, basic, you know, over the top 1,200 mile review. You cannot go wrong with this bike. I've said it in all the other videos. Do not listen to Trek's recommended sizing. This is a ML, which is what they consider, I guess, like the medium, but not quite large. I'm 6'1", and I ride a 58 on all my other bikes. This is the exact same geometry, you know, stack height, reach, you know, legitimately as my 58 centimeter Bedone Gen 7 with a 100 millimeter stem on it. So if you are between 5'11" and honestly 6'2", do not get the large on this frame set. You will be so stretched out, it's not even funny. My full position on this is legit full road race aero stretched out on an ML. And if you're, you know, going by their size chart, you're gonna end up being 5'10" and on a large, and you won't be able to reach crap. So take that for what it's worth. You know, size it based solely on the numbers. Don't go by their chart or their recommendations. Go solely on the stack and the reach. And the stack height doesn't matter because, you know, the frame, it says it's higher, but they're only counting, you know, it's too hard to get into the specs on a quick video, you know, and say the difference between the below the stem and, you know, to the axle versus, you know, where your hands go to the bottom of your bottom bracket. So I mean, it's literally just go by the reach is really the easiest way to go. And if you're also wondering, I have a 780 millimeter center of the saddle to the center of the bottom bracket. So, and this video was not shot with the wide angle, so this should be a true, show you kind of like saddle to bar drop height. And you can go higher than this. You know, if you were 6'2", no problem. 6'3", probably no problem with a 110 stem. But yeah, it works perfect for me. Like I said, 39 mile per hour or 39 kilometer per hour average over 50K for like the last 5 rides. I've been trying to break 40. Can't do it, probably because of the wind. You know, it's just such a fast bike. It's not even funny. So, all right, guys, if you're on the fence buying one of these, do it. Pull the trigger. You will not regret it. The only thing I don't like about it is, you know, all these little like mounts for stuff like all over the bike. So when you go to try to wipe it off with a rag, it's always like catching this thing and, you know, pulling these things out. So it looks like an adventure bike. It rides and accelerates like a race bike. All right, guys, ride safe out there. Eat your carbs, eat late at night, and get those watts up.